The rumors had been around for as long as anyone could remember. In quiet corners of space stations, at the edges of trade routes, and even in the bustling halls of human colonies, people whispered about a ship called the Spectre. They said it was the most powerful human warship ever built, a vessel so advanced that it could destroy entire fleets with a single strike. But no one alive had ever seen it. Some called it a myth, a story parents told their children to make them brave. Others believed it was real but lost, hidden away after the last great war against the Orion Empire. Captain Laura Grant had always heard these stories. She had grown up listening to tales of human heroes who could face impossible odds and come out victorious. She had trained for years in the fleet, learning to command ships, manage crews, and survive in deep space. She liked stories, but she didn't believe myths. The Spectre was just a story, and she had more important things to worry about, like the mission her crew was on now. Laura's ship, the Horizon, was a research vessel. It wasn't built for battle, but it was fast, reliable, and carried a small crew of experts who could handle almost anything. Daniel Brooks was the chief engineer. He was quiet but brilliant, the kind of person who could take a dead engine and make it sing again. His assistant, Kara James, had a sharp mind and a fearless attitude. Together, they could fix almost anything. The Horizon was scanning the edge of human-controlled space when the sensors picked up something unusual. At first, it looked like a drifting asteroid, massive and metallic, but its readings didn't match any natural rock formation. Laura ordered the ship closer. "Get me a visual," she said. The screen filled with a massive shape floating silently in the void. It was unlike any ship she had ever seen. Its hull was sleek, black, and curved in ways that defied normal design. The metal shimmered as if it were alive, reflecting the light of distant stars. "Is that a ship?" asked Lieutenant Marco Evans, the communications officer. His voice carried disbelief. Laura didn't answer immediately. She just stared. The ship seemed enormous, far bigger than anything currently in service. And yet it wasn't moving. It just floated there, waiting. Daniel frowned as he examined the readings. "Captain, the hull is old, very old, but the alloys are not in any database I've ever seen. This could be pre-Orion War technology." Laura swallowed hard. "Could it still be active?" Daniel shook his head. "I don't know, but there is a power signature. Very faint, almost like it's sleeping." Laura gave the order to prepare an away team. She and Daniel, along with Kara and a few others, suited up and moved in the shuttle. As they approached, the ship's surface seemed to ripple as if it was aware of their presence. No one spoke for a few minutes. The air in the shuttle was tense. When they docked, the hatch opened easily, almost as if the ship expected them. The interior was dark and silent. Dust covered the floors and old displays flickered occasionally as if testing themselves. Laura led her team cautiously through the corridors. Every step echoed loudly in the emptiness. "Keep your scanners on," she said. "We don't know what this thing can do." Daniel ran his handheld scanner over the walls. "It's incredible. Look at this engineering. I've never seen anything like it. These systems are centuries old, but they're still functioning. Somehow the ship is alive." Suddenly, the lights in the corridor flickered and then brightened. A calm male voice spoke from the ship's speakers. "Designation recognized. Humanity has returned." The crew froze. Kara whispered, Did the ship just talk?" Laura's heart raced. It said something." "Did anyone understand it?" Daniel shook his head. "It's speaking some kind of old military code. But yes, it acknowledged us." The voice spoke again, slower this time, as if choosing its words carefully. "Captain Laura Grant, crew members present. Activation protocol initiated." Laura stared at the console. "Activation protocol?" she repeated. "What does that mean?" The ship hummed, almost like it was waking from a long sleep. Panels slid open along the walls, revealing energy conduits that glowed with soft blue light. Daniel's eyes widened. "The power. It's coming online. It's alive. Captain, this is a warship and it's waking up." Kara looked around nervously. "If it's alive, does that mean it could attack us?" Laura took a deep breath. "We're not here to fight it. We need to understand it first. Everyone, stay alert." The ship's AI, or whatever it was, continued to hum and speak. "Mission parameters, protect humanity. Threats, eliminate. Current status, waiting for orders." Laura swallowed. It's saying it's a protector. A guardian." Daniel's hands flew across the controls. "This ship is incredible. Look at these energy readings. It has engines capable of speeds we can only dream of. Its weapons, they're beyond anything in the fleet. If this ship ever fought, it could destroy an entire armada. Laura's mind raced. She remembered the old stories about the Spectre, how it had been lost during the Orion conflict. Could this really be the same ship? The myth had been true. As they explored deeper, they found the command bridge. It was enormous, filled with consoles, holographic displays, and strange ancient control panels. Laura stepped forward. This was a human ship, built by humans, but no one alive could have created this. Daniel studied the panels. The systems are partially automated, but they're responsive to human presence. It's like the ship knows we belong here. And the AI, it's not just a program. It's smart. Smarter than any AI I've ever seen. Laura nodded slowly. Then we need to be careful. If this ship is as powerful as it seems, we have to make sure it's on our side. Suddenly, a warning light flashed across the bridge. A distant fleet was approaching, detected on the long-range sensors. "Captain, we've got company," said Marco. "I'm not sure who they are yet, but they're moving fast." Laura frowned. "Show me their signature." The display filled with hundreds of small dots all moving toward them. Daniel gasped. This is a fleet. Hundreds of ships. They're heading straight for us." Laura's eyes narrowed. "We need to get the Horizon and the crew out of here." "But it's this ship. If it's a Guardian, maybe it can protect us." The voice of the AI filled the bridge again. "Threat detected. Human crew recognized. Protocol, defensive engagement available." Laura turned to Daniel. "Can it fight?" Daniel's hands trembled as he examined the systems. "It can fight, Captain. It can fight like nothing we've ever seen, but using its full power could destroy everything nearby. Including us if we're not careful," Laura nodded. "Then we use it smartly. We're not reckless, but we don't run either." The ship's lights shifted and the hum grew louder. Laura felt the power beneath her feet. A strange energy vibrating through the floor. The Spectre had awakened. It was alive, aware, and ready. For the first time in centuries, a human warship had returned to the galaxy, and Captain Laura Grant knew that what they had found was no ordinary vessel. This was a ship built for legend, a protector that could change the fate of humanity itself. The approaching fleet did not know what was coming. The myth had awakened, and soon the galaxy would see that humans were not to be underestimated. The Spectre waited silently, its power ready, and the crew of the Horizon realized that their lives had just become part of something far larger than any mission they had ever known. Laura looked out of the bridge viewport, her eyes fixed on the black hull of the Spectre. She felt a mixture of fear and hope. "Let's see what you can do," she whispered. And with that, the ship hummed louder, as if acknowledging her command. The myth was real. Humanity had returned, and the Spectre was ready to remind the galaxy of what that meant. The fleet on the sensors moved closer. Hundreds of ships, sleek and deadly, stretched across the darkness like a black river of metal. Captain Laura Grant stood on the bridge of the Horizon, her hands gripping the console as she tried to process what she was seeing. She had spent years preparing for emergencies, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Daniel Brooks was at the engineering station, his fingers flying over the holographic controls of the Spectre. He had spent hours exploring the ship, learning its systems and trying to understand its power. But even he could not fully grasp it. The energy readings were off the charts. The weapons, the shields, the engines, all of it was far beyond human technology, far beyond what he had ever seen in simulations or history archives. "They're closing in fast," said Marco Evans, the communications officer. "I've tried to send a message, but they're not responding. They're ignoring us. It looks like they're coming to attack." Laura nodded slowly. "Keep scanning. I want to know everything about them." "We can't just run. Not with this ship." Kara James stood beside Daniel, her eyes wide as she studied the systems. "Captain, the ship is responding to us." "It's like it can think, and it wants to fight if it needs to." Laura swallowed. "Then we'll let it. But carefully. We don't fire unless we have to." The AI, Orion, spoke for the first time since the fleet appeared. Its voice was calm, steady, and almost human. "Threat assessment complete. Fleet size 472 ships. Weapon power, medium to high. Probability of destruction if engaged without full power, 95%. Recommendation: defensive maneuvers with limited engagement until crew orders full activation." Laura nodded. "Thank you, Orion. We'll follow your recommendation. Keep me informed of any changes." The Spectre moved, Slowly, almost as if it were testing the waters, it extended its engines and shifted in the void. The ship's surface rippled and energy fields appeared around the hull. The fleet slowed as if sensing the change, their formation shifting. "Captain," Daniel said, "the shields are activating. These are not like normal shields, they're bending light, bending energy around the ship. I can't explain it. It's like the ship is hiding itself in plain sight." Laura nodded. "Good. Keep the fleet at a distance. We need to understand them before they understand us." The first shot came without warning. A small alien cruiser fired a beam of energy at the Spectre. The beam hit the shields, and for a moment the ship flickered, as if testing the strength. Then the shields absorbed the blast, bending it around the ship and redirecting it harmlessly into space. The crew on the horizon gasped. Daniel's hands flew over the controls, monitoring the shields. "It's working. It's not just blocking the attack, it's redirecting the energy. This ship, it's alive." Kara looked at the display. "They don't know what they're facing. If we use the full power, we could destroy them all before they even realize it." Laura shook her head. "No, we don't want to destroy everyone. We need to survive, but we can show them we're not weak." Orion spoke again. "Captain, selective engagement possible. Targeting systems online. Weapons ready for demonstration. Probability of enemy retreat if engaged with minimal force, 89%. Laura considered. She knew this was the chance to prove that the Spectre was not a myth. "Do it," she said. "Show them what humans can do without destroying them all." The ship's hull glowed as energy weapons powered up. A single pulse was fired toward the largest enemy ship. The beam didn't destroy it completely, but it shattered the ship's shields and damaged its engines. The other ships paused, confused. They had expected the humans to be weak. Instead, they saw power beyond comprehension. "Captain, look at the fleet," Marco said. "They're pulling back." "They didn't expect that," Laura nodded. "Good. Keep the pressure on, but don't fire unless necessary." The fleet hesitated, trying to regroup. But every time they advanced, the Spectre countered with precision. Another pulse of energy hit two cruisers at once, knocking out their engines. Another beam shredded the targeting systems of a smaller vessel. The aliens began to retreat, unsure of what they were facing. Daniel ran calculations at an incredible pace. "Captain, if we push the engines, we could get closer and show them more power. They might retreat completely." Laura looked out of the viewport at the blackness filled with enemy ships. "Do it, but carefully. We're not reckless. We show them the ship is real, but we don't destroy them yet." The Spectre moved forward faster than anything the aliens expected. Its hull shimmered, reflecting the light of distant stars. Every pulse of energy, every movement of the ship was precise. It was as if the ship itself knew the strategy, knew how to intimidate without killing. The aliens began to scatter. Their formations broke apart. Some ships tried to attack again, but the Spectre was too fast. Its energy shields blocked every attack. Its weapons disabled enemy ships without destruction, and its engines allowed it to appear in multiple positions in seconds. Laura felt a thrill of awe. This was more than a ship. It was a force of nature. She realized that the myths were true. The Spectre was not just a story. It was a weapon, a protector, and a symbol of humanity's strength. Orion spoke again. "Enemy retreat confirmed. Probability of complete withdrawal, 73%. Recommendation, maintain defensive position until fleet leaves system." Laura nodded. "Good, keep tracking them. We don't know if they're calling for reinforcements." Daniel exhaled slowly. "Captain, this ship, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. The engineering alone, it's centuries ahead of us. And the way it fights, it's like it's alive." Kara smiled. "It is alive. It listens to us, but it knows what to do. It's protecting us." Laura looked at her crew. They were tired, nervous, but also in awe. They had faced many challenges before, but this was different. They were part of something that could change the galaxy. The fleet had retreated far enough that it was no longer an immediate threat. Laura took a deep breath. "We did it. The Spectre has proven itself. But we can't stay here. If more ships come, we need to be ready." Daniel nodded. "Captain, we need to understand the ship more. Its systems, its weapons, its engines. I've only scratched the surface. There's so much we don't know. We could be sitting on the most powerful weapon in the galaxy and we don't even fully understand it." Laura looked at him and smiled faintly. "Then we learn. We use what we have carefully. This ship belongs to humanity, but it belongs to all of us too. We can't be reckless with it." Kara stepped forward. Captain, I think the ship... Orion, it likes us. It trusts us. That's why it's listening and responding. It wants to help humans, not just fight. Laura nodded. Then we honor that trust. We protect it and it protects us. But we have to be careful. This is only the beginning. Other fleets will come and they won't run so easily. The Spectre hummed quietly, its lights glowing softly. It seemed almost content, almost aware that it had proven its strength. Laura watched it, feeling a mixture of fear and hope. This ship was more than a weapon. It was a promise that humanity, even after years of hiding and struggle, could still stand against the galaxy. Laura turned to her crew. We rest for now, but tomorrow we learn more. We prepare this ship, it's a legend come to life, and we're going to see just how far it can take us. The stars outside shimmered as the Spectre floated silently in the void. Its presence alone had changed the balance of power. The galaxy would remember that humans had returned, and the myths of the past were no longer just stories. The Spectre was real and humanity was awake again. As the crew settled into their stations for the night, Laura couldn't help but feel a thrill of excitement. The Spectre had chosen them and they had accepted. Together they would explore the ship, understand its secrets, and face the challenges that were coming. And somewhere deep in the heart of the ship, Orion's voice spoke again, calm and steady. Mission: protect humanity. Engagement protocol ready. Future uncertain, but hope exists, Laura smiled. Hope, she realized, was exactly what they needed. And the Spectre was the key to giving humanity a future no one had thought possible. The galaxy was watching, and humans were ready. The Spectre rested silently near the edge of human space, its black hull glinting in the faint light of distant stars. Captain Laura Grant stood on the bridge of the horizon, watching the ship she now called their guardian. The crew had spent hours exploring and learning, but there was still so much they did not understand. Every system they discovered was more powerful than anything in the current human fleet. Every engine, every weapon, every control panel hinted at technology that humans had long forgotten. But the quiet did not last. Scanners picked up a massive movement far beyond the rim of the system. A new fleet, larger than the one they had seen before, approached at full speed. Hundreds of alien ships stretched across the darkness like a river of black steel. The Keltari Dominion had called for reinforcements, and other species, hearing of the humans' sudden return, had sent warships as well. Laura turned to Marco Evans. Communications. Try to hail them. Tell them we are not looking for war. Marco's hands moved quickly over the console. No response, Captain. They're not listening. They're coming straight at us, weapons armed and engines at full power. Daniel Brooks studied the readings on the Spectre. Captain, if we stay here, we could be destroyed. Even this ship might not handle that many attackers if they all focus fire. Laura nodded. Then we don't stay, we move. Orion, take us to a better position. The Spectre responded with a quiet hum, its engines coming alive. The ship moved with a grace that no human vessel could match. It glided through space, bending light slightly around its hull, making it harder for sensors to lock on. The approaching fleet hesitated for a moment, sensing the strange energy radiating from the human ship. Captain, Kara said, eyes wide, they're scanning us. I think they know this isn't a normal ship, but they don't understand what it is. Laura nodded. Good. Let them underestimate us. That will give us an advantage. The alien fleet closed in. Hundreds of ships now surrounded the Spectre, trying to cut off any escape. Their energy weapons glowed across space, casting long, deadly beams toward the human ship. The first shots hit, and the Spectre shimmered as its shields activated. The beams struck the energy field and were bent aside, harmlessly redirected into space. Daniel stared at the readings in disbelief. The shields, they're not just protecting the ship. They're moving, adjusting. It's like the ship is alive and fighting back without human input. Laura clenched her fists. It is alive. And it's on our side. Orion, prepare weapons. Use selective engagement. Disable, do not destroy. A pulse of energy shot from the Spectre, striking the closest enemy ships. Their engines failed instantly, and they began to drift helplessly. The other ships tried to fire again, but every attempt was countered by the ship's energy fields. Weapons malfunctioned, targeting systems scrambled, and ships collided with each other in confusion. Captain, they're panicking, Marco said, astonished. They've never faced anything like this. Laura watched as the alien fleet began to scatter. Good. Keep pressure on, but stay focused. We're not done yet. Daniel was busy at the control panel adjusting energy flows. If we push more power to the weapons, we could force them to retreat completely. But it will strain the engines. The Spectre can handle it, but the risk is high. Laura nodded. Do it. We need to show them humans are not weak. The ship's hull glowed brighter as power surged through its systems. Another pulse of energy struck multiple enemy ships at once. Beams of bending light tore through their hulls, disabling weapons and engines without killing the crews. The aliens were confused and terrified. They had heard the legends, but now they saw the myth was real. Captain, Kara said, pointing at the display. They're calling for reinforcements. Another fleet is on the way. We can't hold them all off for long, Laura frowned. Then we make a decision. If more are coming, we can't just wait. Orion, do you have a strategy? The ship's AI responded calmly. Probability of enemy fleet destruction. 92% if full engagement protocol is used. Risk to human crew, 27%. Recommendation, gradual escalation to full engagement if threats continue. Laura looked at her crew. We don't want unnecessary risk. But we cannot run. We need to defend ourselves, and we need to prove that humanity can stand against overwhelming odds. The fleet surged forward again, but this time, the Spectre was ready. Its engines flared, and it moved faster than any alien ship could track. The hull shimmered with energy, creating illusions that made the fleet see multiple ships in different positions. Their weapons fired blindly, hitting nothing but empty space. Daniel's hands flew over the controls. Captain, the ship is predicting their movements. It's anticipating every attack. It's almost like it can think for itself. Laura nodded, her heart pounding. Good, keep it moving. Keep them confused. The Spectre struck back with precision. Energy beams disabled the largest ships first, cutting off their engines. Smaller ships tried to flee, but the Spectre was too fast. It moved around them, bending light and energy in ways that made targeting impossible. Kara watched in awe. This is unbelievable. They think they're attacking a human fleet, but it's just one ship. And it's destroying them without killing everyone. Laura smiled faintly. That's what humans do. We fight smart. We survive. We win. The alien commanders began to realize their mistake. Their fleet was breaking apart. Some ships tried to regroup, but the Spectre anticipated every move. Its weapons struck with perfect accuracy, disabling engines, shields, and weapon systems without unnecessary destruction. Captain, the enemy fleet is disorganized, Marco said. They're retreating in all directions. They don't know what to do, Laura nodded. Good, let them go. But we stay alert. They might return with more ships, or they might warn others. Daniel looked at the energy readings. Captain, if we push the engines and weapons a bit more, we could force them to flee completely. They won't dare come back for a long time, Laura considered. Do it, but carefully. We show them human strength, not reckless power. The Spectre moved forward, engines blazing. Its hull shimmered with energy as it disabled the remaining ships. The alien commanders panicked. Their formation was gone, and their ships were failing one by one. Some tried to surrender, but most fled into space, leaving only debris behind. Laura exhaled slowly. It's done. They've retreated. The fleet is broken, Kara smiled. And we didn't even have to kill them all. Just enough to make them afraid. Daniel nodded. Captain, this ship, the Spectre, it's beyond anything we've ever imagined. It's not just a weapon. It's a guardian, and it's alive. Laura looked out at the stars. The black hull of the Spectre floated silently in space, glowing with energy. She felt awe, fear, and hope all at once. This was more than a ship. This was humanity's legacy. Orion's voice filled the bridge. Engagement complete. Threat neutralized. Human crew unharmed. Mission protocol continues. Further threats expected. Recommendation: continue learning and preparing for future encounters. Laura nodded. We will. This is just the beginning. The galaxy will not forget this day. Humans are back, and the Spectre is real. As the crew settled into their stations, they realized the enormity of what had just happened. They had faced an entire fleet, and a single human ship had survived and won. The myth was true, and now the galaxy would have to reckon with it. Daniel studied the controls. Captain, there's more. The ship's logs, the engineering data. There's so much here. Weapons, shields, engines, even systems we can't understand yet. If we study this ship, humans could rise again in ways the galaxy has never seen. Laura nodded. Then we study. We prepare. We learn everything we can. And when the time comes, we use this power wisely. The Spectre hummed quietly, its lights glowing softly. It seemed almost alive, almost aware that it had proven itself. Laura watched it, feeling a mixture of fear and hope. This ship was more than a weapon. It was a promise. A promise that humanity, even after years of hiding and struggle, could still stand against the galaxy. And far away, in the darkness of space, the remains of the alien fleet drifted silently. They would carry the tale of a human ship that had destroyed hundreds of warships without loss, and the myth of humanity would grow once more. Laura turned to her crew. Get some rest. We'll need our strength for what comes next. This ship, the Spectre, is our future. And it's just beginning. The stars outside shimmered as the Spectre floated silently in the void. Its presence alone had changed the balance of power. The galaxy would remember that humans had returned, and the myths of the past were no longer just stories. The Spectre was real and humanity was awake again. The battle had ended, but the air on the horizon was still tense. The crew was tired, but they could not rest. The Spectre floated silently in space, its black hull glowing softly as if it were thinking. Captain Laura Grant knew this was only the beginning. There would be more enemies, more fleets, and more challenges. Daniel Brooks had spent hours analyzing the ship's systems. He had barely scratched the surface, but every discovery left him more amazed. Captain, he said, this ship is not just a weapon. It's technology. It's centuries ahead of anything we know. And there are parts of it I still don't understand. Laura nodded. Then we learn. We find out everything we can. The galaxy is watching and we need to be ready. Kara James joined them on the bridge, her eyes wide. Captain, I found something in the logs. The ship's AI, Orion. It keeps mentioning something called Final Guardian and a mission that was never completed. Laura frowned. Final Guardian? What does that mean? Daniel shook his head. I think it's the ship's purpose. It wasn't built just to fight. It was built to protect humanity, in case of a threat that could wipe us out completely. This ship, this is the ultimate human weapon and defender. Laura's heart pounded. Then we need to understand that mission. We need to know why the ship was hidden and why it was forgotten. The crew gathered in the ship's command room. Orion's voice filled the space, calm and steady. Captain Laura Grant, crew members present. Mission parameters: protect humanity. Threats: eliminate. Status: incomplete. Directive: await activation by human command. Laura looked at the AI, her expression serious. Orion, why were you hidden? Why did humans forget you? There was no longer an immediate threat, Orion replied. The enemies of humanity were defeated. Protocol dictated that the ship enter stasis to preserve its systems until needed again. Humanity chose to continue without this weapon. It was hidden to prevent misuse. Kara frowned. So the humans who came before us chose to hide this ship, even though it could protect them? Yes, Orion said. The power contained within this vessel was considered too great for regular use. Only a threat of extinction would justify full activation. Laura nodded slowly. Then the galaxy is not ready for this yet. But we have been found and enemies are coming. That means it's time for us to learn how to use it. Daniel ran his hands over the controls. Captain, the ship contains plans, schematics, and logs from the original crew. There are old messages from the war, from the time before it was hidden. We can access them, but we need to be careful. Some of the systems might be unstable if we try to use them without guidance. Laura looked at the crew. We don't have a choice. We need to know what we're dealing with. Every day we delay, the galaxy changes and more threats may appear. Start the logs. Show me what the ship was built for. Hours passed as the crew explored the ship's hidden memories. Holographic images appeared in the command room, showing battles, ships, and planets that had long been destroyed. The original captain of the Spectre appeared in a recorded message. His uniform was old-fashioned and his voice was calm but firm. To any who awaken the Spectre, he said, you now hold the legacy of humanity's might. This ship was built not for conquest but for protection. The enemies we fought sought to destroy all human life. This vessel is our final guardian, to rise when the threat returns. Use it wisely, or the consequences will be catastrophic. Laura felt a chill. This ship, it was waiting for us, waiting for humanity to need it again. Kara stepped forward. Captain, there's more. The logs mentioned something called the Extinction Protocol. It says if the threat is too great, the ship has the capability to engage fully and eliminate all hostile forces. But it also warns that human oversight is required. We can't let it act without thinking. Daniel nodded. Captain, this is bigger than any warship we've seen. It's not just powerful. It's smart. It can fight, protect, and even predict enemy moves. But if we misuse it, it could destroy everything, including us. Laura took a deep breath. Then we need to learn. We need to understand every system, every weapon, every protocol. Orion, show us the defensive and offensive capabilities. Start with low-power tests. We need to know what this ship can do before we face anything bigger. The AI's hum filled the room. Acknowledged. Initiating system tests. Defensive and offensive systems offline for low-power simulations. Crew may observe and learn. The crew moved through the corridors and control rooms, watching the ship's systems come alive in controlled tests. Energy beams fired into empty space. Shields activated and deactivated. Engines ignited briefly and then powered down. Every system was beyond imagination, yet all of it could be studied. Daniel ran calculations non-stop. Captain, if we understand even a fraction of this ship's power, we could defend any human colony from any threat. This is humanity's greatest secret, and it's ours now. Laura nodded. Then we protect it, we learn from it, and we use it wisely. The galaxy has seen us, and now it knows humans have returned. We need to be ready for whatever comes next. As the crew worked, Kara discovered something unusual in the AI's logs. Captain, there's a map. Not a star map, but a warning map. It shows locations of old enemies, fleets, and empires that once fought humanity. It's like the ship is tracking potential future threats, even ones we haven't met yet. Laura leaned in. That's incredible. This ship isn't just a weapon. It's a sentinel. It's watching, learning, and preparing for danger even before it arrives. Daniel's voice was serious. Captain, this means we're not just dealing with the fleet we saw before. There are bigger threats out there, empires we haven't even met yet, and the ship knows about them. Laura nodded slowly. Then we have to be ready. The Spectre chose us for a reason. We're the ones who will awaken it, guide it, and use it to protect humanity. We can't fail. For the next days, the crew studied the ship tirelessly. They learned to navigate its engines, control its weapons, and communicate with Orion more effectively. Each day, the ship revealed more secrets. Some were simple, like how to power its shields more efficiently. Others were complex, like predicting enemy maneuvers using simulations based on ancient data. The AI spoke often, calm and guiding. Captain crew members' learning is progressing. Systems are being understood. Probability of effective defensive engagement, 87%. Probability of effective offensive engagement if necessary, 91%. Laura smiled faintly. That's good, keep it up. We have to be ready for anything. One evening, as the crew rested, Orion spoke again, almost quietly. Captain, there is a record of a warning. The enemies we defeated once are gone, but new alliances may form. They may not know of the Spectre yet, but if they learn of its existence, they may seek to destroy it before humanity can use it. Laura nodded. Then we can't hide anymore. The galaxy has seen us, and they will come, but we will be ready. The Spectre is more than a myth now. It's real, and it's ours to guide. Kara smiled. Captain, it feels like the ship trusts us, like it knows we're human and it wants to help us. We're not just controlling it. We're working with it, Daniel nodded. And that's why it's so powerful. It's not just technology. It's intelligence, strategy, and history combined. If we understand it fully, we could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Laura looked out the viewport at the black expanse of space. Stars sparkled, distant worlds waited, and threats were coming. But for the first time, she felt confident. They had the Spectre, they had each other, and they had hope. Orion spoke once more, calm and steady. Mission protocol active. Human crew prepared. Future threats predicted. Defensive and offensive capabilities at partial understanding. Full activation possible when necessary. Humanity is protected, Laura smiled faintly. Then we continue to learn. We prepare. And when the time comes, we will face whatever comes at us. The ship hummed softly as if acknowledging her words. It had awakened. It had proven its power, and it was ready to guide humanity through the dangers that lay ahead. The galaxy would not forget the day humans returned with the Spectre. And neither would they forget what that meant. Humanity was not weak, and when the time came, they would rise to face every challenge, every enemy, and every threat that came their way. Laura turned to her crew. Rest for now. Tomorrow, we continue our training. The Spectre has many secrets left, and we need to uncover all of them. This is just the beginning. And somewhere deep in the ship, Orion's voice echoed softly. Humanity endures. Threats will come. The final Guardian is ready. The crew felt a sense of purpose unlike anything they had ever known. They were no longer just humans exploring space. They were part of a legacy, part of a living legend, and the Spectre was their guide, protector, and weapon. The galaxy would soon learn that myths can be real, and when humans awaken the power of their past, nothing, not fleets, not empires, not entire worlds, could stand against them. The calm of space did not last long. From the edge of the system, sensors picked up a massive fleet approaching. Hundreds of ships, far larger than any the crew had faced before, advanced like a black tide. These were not the small fleets of scouts or raiders. These were full battle fleets, organized, armed, and ready to annihilate anything in their path. Captain Laura Grant stood on the bridge of the horizon, looking at the approaching ships. Her crew was tense but ready. They had trained, studied the Spectre, and learned more about its systems than anyone could have imagined. But this would be the ultimate test. This was what the ship had been built for, the protection of humanity against overwhelming odds. Daniel Brooks worked quickly at the controls of the Spectre. Captain, this fleet is massive. If we don't act carefully, they could surround us. But the ship, it can handle them. We just have to use it smartly. Laura nodded. Orion, what's the situation? The AI responded calmly. Threat assessment complete. Fleet size 134 vessels. Weapon systems advanced. Probability of enemy success without engagement 98%. Probability of human survival if full protocol used 89%. Recommendation: initiate full defensive measures and selective engagement. Offensive engagement possible. Laura took a deep breath. Then we fight. But we fight smart. We don't want to destroy unnecessarily, but we can't let them reach human space. The Spectre hummed as its engines flared, its shields activated fully, glowing like a black sun. The hull shimmered as energy fields spread across it, bending light, creating illusions that made it appear in multiple places at once. The fleet hesitated, sensing something they could not understand. Kara James leaned over Daniel's shoulder. Captain, they don't know what they're facing. They think they're attacking a normal ship, but this is something else. Laura's hands tightened on the console. Then we make them understand. The first shots came as the fleet moved closer. Beams of energy slammed into the Spectre, but the shields bent the attacks harmlessly aside. Orion responded instantly, firing precision pulses at the closest enemy ships. Engines exploded, weapons failed, and hulls were damaged without taking lives. The fleet was stunned. Captain, Marco Evans said, they're pulling back. They weren't expecting this, Laura nodded. Keep them confused. We're not done yet. The Spectre moved with a speed and grace that no enemy could track. Its weapons fired with perfect timing, disabling the largest vessels first. Smaller ships tried to escape, but the illusions and energy fields made it nearly impossible to navigate. Every attempt to regroup failed. The fleet was losing cohesion, their attacks ineffective against a single human ship. Daniel looked at the readings in disbelief. Captain, the ship. It's anticipating every move. It's like it can see the future. Every attack is countered before it happens. Laura's voice was steady. That's why it's the final Guardian. That's why humans built it. This ship doesn't just fight, it protects, it predicts, it survives. Kara watched in awe. And it's saving lives while it fights. None of the enemy crews are dying yet. The Spectre is terrifying but fair. Laura smiled faintly. That's how humans fight. Smart, strong, and careful. The fleet tried again, combining their ships into a tight formation to concentrate fire. But the Spectre adapted instantly. Its engines flared, bending space slightly to appear in multiple positions, confusing the enemy sensors. Energy pulses struck each ship precisely, disabling weapons and engines in seconds. Daniel shouted, Captain! If we push the engines to full, we can force them to retreat completely. They'll never come back. Laura hesitated. We can't risk total destruction unless we have to. But we can show them humans are not weak. The Spectre responded as if reading her mind. Its hull shimmered brighter. Energy beams fired in perfect precision, and the enemy fleet's formation broke apart. Ships collided, engines failed, and weapon systems went offline. The aliens panicked, trying to flee. but the illusions and energy fields made navigation nearly impossible. Marco reported, "Captain, they're scattering." "They don't know where to go," Laura nodded. "Good, let them run. But stay alert. This is not over." The Spectre moved through the debris, its energy shields shimmering like liquid light. Orion spoke calmly. "Enemy fleet neutralized. Estimated retreat success 98%. Human crew unharmed. Mission protection of humanity continues. Future threats predicted, high probability." Laura exhaled slowly. "It's done. The fleet is broken, but others will come. This is just the beginning." Daniel shook his head, amazed. "Captain, this ship, it's not just a warship. It's intelligence, strategy, and history combined. We've barely scratched the surface of what it can do." Laura nodded. "Then we keep learning. We keep studying. We prepare for whatever comes next. This ship is humanity's legacy, and we must honor it." Kara stepped forward, eyes wide. "Captain, the enemies will tell others. They'll warn their allies. We're going to face more fleets, bigger ones. But I come with this ship, we can face them. We can protect human space." Laura looked out at the stars. "Exactly. We've proven humans are not weak. We've proven that myths can be real. The galaxy will remember today. They will remember that humanity has returned and we are not afraid." The crew worked tirelessly to repair any minor damage to the Spectre. Daniel and Kara ran simulations, testing the weapons, shields, and engines, learning how to push the ship's power safely. Every day brought new understanding. Every discovery made them stronger, more confident, and more ready for future battles. Orion spoke often, guiding them. "Captain, crew, probability of future threat engagement success increasing as crew understanding grows. Defensive and offensive protocols improving. Humanity has an advantage in upcoming conflicts." Laura nodded. "Then we continue. We prepare. We learn everything we can from this ship. The galaxy will come for us, but we will be ready." The crew could feel the weight of history on their shoulders. They were not just explorers or soldiers anymore. They were the protectors of humanity's greatest secret. The Spectre had chosen them, and they had accepted. Days passed, and the crew grew more confident. The Spectre had shown its power, but it had also taught them restraint. Its energy fields, engines, and weapons were unmatched, yet the AI guided them to protect life whenever possible. The crew understood that true power was not in destruction, but in control, strategy, and wisdom. Finally, a signal came from the edges of human space. Another fleet was approaching, one even larger than the last. Hundreds of ships armed and ready advanced toward human colonies. Laura looked at her crew. "This is it. The moment we've been preparing for. Orion, full activation protocol. Defensive measures first, then precision engagement." The Spectre hummed and glowed, its black hull shimmering with raw energy. Its shields expanded, bending light, energy, and even space around it. Engines flared, creating illusions that made the fleet see multiple ships in multiple places at once. Every enemy attack was redirected, nullified, or anticipated before it could even begin. The alien fleet fired with full power, but every shot was useless. Beams struck energy fields and were bent away. Weapons failed, engines malfunctioned, and ships collided in confusion. The Spectre struck back with precision. Energy pulses disabled entire cruisers in seconds, while smaller vessels were forced to retreat. Daniel shouted, "Captain, if we push the engines fully, we can end this battle before it even begins." Laura nodded. "Do it. Show them what humanity is capable of." The Spectre moved like a storm, its weapons striking with perfect timing. Shields flared, engines roared, and the fleet fell apart. Ships surrendered, others fled, and those that remained were powerless against the human ship. The legend of the Spectre had been proven beyond doubt. Laura watched the final enemy vessels retreat into space. "It's over," she said softly. "We did it. Humanity is safe. For now," Kara smiled. "Captain, we showed the galaxy that humans are not weak. The myths are real and the Spectre is here." Daniel nodded. "This ship, it's beyond anything anyone could imagine. And it's ours to guide. The galaxy will never forget today." Laura looked at the glowing hull of the Spectre, feeling awe and pride. "Then we continue. We learn, we prepare, because the next threat will come and we will be ready." Orion's voice echoed softly across the bridge, calm and steady. "Mission accomplished. Humanity protected. Future threats predicted. The final guardian stands ready. Humanity endures." The stars outside sparkled as the specter floated in silence, black and powerful. The galaxy had witnessed the return of a myth, and humans had proven themselves once again. Captain Laura Grant and her crew stood together, ready to face whatever came next. The galaxy had learned a lesson that day. Myths could be real, legends could live, and when humans returned with the power of the specter, nothing, not fleets, not empires, not even entire worlds could stand against them. And so, the specter continued to watch over humanity, its black hull shimmering in the void, a guardian, a protector, and a symbol of human strength. The galaxy would never forget the day the myth became reality, and humanity reclaimed its place among the stars.